Hey everybody, I am coming making this video message and I want to talk to you all about demonic cycles in inauthentic love. Let me say that again. I'm going to talk to you all about demonic cycles if you are in inauthentic love. Let me break this down. Some people are in relationships with someone and they really believe or strongly feel like they're in love with that person. And as time goes on, various things begin to happen in that relationship. Maybe certain people start physically fighting each other. Maybe some people start always verbally assaulting each other in that relationship. Maybe there are various things that have been done to you by the person you are in a relationship with, and you question if they really respect you and love you, because they continue to do the same thing to you. And one way that you will know that you are in a demonic cycle within a relationship is every single time you and that person come together and you make a decision and say, we don't need to be together, we're not working, we're always arguing, we're always fighting. You all break up. But then a week or two later, you may get a phone call, and next thing you know, you're right back with that person. And I'm not talking about how there are some couples who don't see eye to eye and they are both growing in their own way. And once they bump heads, they say, you know what, we need a breather from each other. We're spending too much time with each other. Let's just, break away and go our separate ways. And once we calm down, we can come back together. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about some of you all, the current relationship you're in is very, very toxic. You know that the relationship you're in now, that it is more of a trauma bond type of relationship versus it being a pure and authentic relationships. A lot of people stay with someone because they fear starting over. They fear opening up themselves to a new person. See, it's easier to just stay in a relationship with somebody that already knows everything about you. They may know all of your secrets. They may know what makes you laugh and what makes you cry. You already know what to expect from that person. And so the thought of having to go out and start over and get to know somebody again, it's exhausting for a lot of you all. So it's better to just stay with that person. A lot of married couples who have toxic marriages, they feel like, you hear a lot of the old folks say, it's cheaper to keep her. Because a lot of people just feel like, okay, when you're married, I'm saying people in the world, because if you're a Christian man or woman, you should not want to divorce your spouse because you made vows and said for better or for worse. Now, I know you guys don't want to hear that, and I know you all don't really want to believe that, but you are supposed to ride it out unless there was infidelity. But even with that, you're supposed to still be very forgiving. Marriage is really about communication, and it's about forgiving. It's about a bunch of other stuff, but those are two of the main things that should be in the forefront of a marriage. But a lot of people will say, the old heads will say, it's cheaper to keep her, meaning it's just better that you stay with that wife, because if you try to divorce her, she's gonna take you for everything that you have. So you'll keep more money in your pocket and you just got to deal with whatever you have to deal with. People have that attitude, but it comes a time where in a toxic relationship, you're not even probably married to the person that you keep going through cycles with. And I'm talking about volatile cycles where you're arguing, you're fighting physically. The police keep getting called over and over and over again. You've been to court with that person. Maybe they got an order of protection against you, or you got an order of protection against them, and you're going back and forth with them, and you all hate each other, but something keeps bringing you back. And every time you open up again, and every time you trust that person again, they let you down again. For some of you ladies, you'll have that guy. He tells you he loves you. He tells you he's not going to cheat on you again. He tells you he's not going to put his hands on you again. And every single time you believe it. And when you come back, he is acting good. It lasts for a very short moment. And before you know it, he's back to putting his hands on you again. He's back to disappearing. He's back to hiding his phone. He's back to not showing up at the time he said he's going to show up. You're crying again. You're angry again. You all are physically fighting again. The police is being called again. You might be going back and forth to court again. You all better be aware of when the enemy has raised his head in a relationship that you are in. See, the thing you all got to understand is when it is inauthentic love, typically inauthentic love that is formed and that is brought together on a foundation of lust or on a foundation of deception or on a foundation where you as a man or a woman of God, you got out the will of God and you got into that relationship with that person. You got to understand that there is so much you are going to go through. I'm telling you all today in this video message, don't play around with the demonic cycles with inauthentic love. You can say all day, I love that person. I'm supposed to be with that person. But you all, this is not for everybody. A lot of you all, you've got to come to the realization, you know what? I am always getting into physical fights with this person, or this person is always verbally assaulting me. This person is always getting a mother involved in our business. This person is always having their friends involved in our business. This person always has their father or their co-workers involved in our business. And every single time we fall out with each other, one of us pack up and move out, but the other person persuades and convinces us to come back. And when I come back, I'm finding myself back at square one, where I'm being hit, where I'm being cursed out, where I'm being lied to, where the police are being called, where I'm screaming, where I'm yelling, where my mental is just not in a good place. I don't know how many of you are going through this, but I want you all to learn what real love is. I want you all to really start seeking God and asking God to give you the discernment that you need to see if the man or the woman you're with truly has your best interests at heart. We already know that every last one of us as human beings, we are imperfect people. We know this. This is not a secret. This is not something that I have to teach you. You all know this. We are all under construction. We are all still learning and growing. It takes time for you to get to a certain level spiritually. It takes time for you to get to a level where you have matured. However, if you have no peace, hear me when I tell you, if you have no peace in the relationship that you're in, no matter what you do, No matter how much that person promises you that they're going to change, every time you go back to them, you have no peace. Every time you're around them and you all bump heads, or you have an argument, or you have a disagreement, they're tearing you down. They're calling you out of your name. You all are fighting so bad to the point the police has to be called. You all are tearing up furniture. You're breaking furniture. One or both of you within that relationship is getting humiliated because you're going to court. And see, you all got to understand too, if your relationship is this volatile to where you're going back and forth to court, and 1 minute you get an order of protection against somebody and they're told to stay away from you, or you're told to stay away from that person and don't call them and don't text them, when you go back to them, people will start to take you as a joke. People will start to look at you like you are playing with the court system. They will look at you like you are playing with the time the police spend to come out to your place of residence, or to make an arrest, or to even be a witness in court to the abuse that you've been receiving. And this goes for males and females. You all should be at a point, if this is you, be at a point where you are tired of the devil playing in your face and playing with your relationship. If you're confused about, you know what, should I be with this man? Should I be with this woman? Ask yourself, do you keep repeatedly, no matter how many promises are made, no matter how many conversations you have with that person you're in a relationship with currently, you all cannot seem to get along? You all better recognize when the enemy is in the midst of something and he's still stirring up things to keep you stagnated and to keep you going in demonic cycles. Authentic love learns, grows, apologizes, and really means it. You see change when authentic, real, pure, and godly love is in the midst of your relationship with somebody, ladies and gentlemen. But if it's constant chaos, constant drama, constant confusion, constant verbal abuse and verbal assaults and physical abuse, and things within your apartment or your house are being torn up, and a whole bunch of people in your friendships, in your family, they keep being brought into your toxic relationship, you gotta understand that it may not be God. God is not the author of confusion. And see, you all also have to understand how the enemy operates as well. And these things happen when you get out the will of God. See, when you're in the will of God, things go on, okay? Your heart can be broken by a friend. Your heart can be broken by the church. Your heart can be broken by your husband or your wife or somebody that you're dating. Okay, that happens. But when you're out the will of God and you don't have any level of peace, even when you're trying to get along with that person, they are still disturbing your peace. They're still disturbing your mental health. They're still disturbing you physically. You've got to understand that that is not God. And the enemy will be on the forefront of an inauthentic relationship that you have with somebody. And you'll think about, well, I got a lot of history with this person. Well, we share children together. Well, right now I can't do any better. I have to stay with that person. I have to put up with what I got to put up with. I seriously and strongly urge any one of you all, male or female, if you are in this place, to start praying and asking God to change your situation around. so you do not have to keep dealing with anybody who continues to tear you down and mistreat you in various ways, and you never get peace. I'm talking about every other day you arguing or physically fighting with that person, or they're emotionally abusing you, or they're getting other people involved in your relationship and you're getting humiliated behind it. You're getting embarrassed behind it. Pray and ask God to give you the strength to walk away from that relationship that is no longer serving you. Pray and ask God to open up your eyes and give you the spirit and the gift of discernment, so you will know when somebody really, really does love you. A lot of you all, you stay with somebody because it's familiar to you and it's comfortable to you, or you feel like you don't deserve to have someone better because you're looking at your flaws. You're looking at the mistakes that you've made in your life, so you feel like nobody outside of that person would ever want you. I'm here to tell you the devil is a liar. Don't you dare stay in a demonic cycle because you fear different things that have not even been confirmed to you. This especially goes for those of you, you say you trust in God, you say you believe in God, you say that you know God, but you don't trust God to continue to take care of you and to continue to get you from point A to point B, so you continue to subject yourself to a man or to a woman that's tearing you down. You continue to allow yourself to be manipulated to where that person calls you back to them. They may scream and holler and curse you out and tell you they never want to see you again. And the next day or 3 days later or a week later, they crying and begging you to come back. Do you all know that that game plan, it's not cute? That game plan and that going back and forth, it starts to wear on you mentally and emotionally. Take it from a woman. I'm talking about myself now. I went through it. And when I went through it, I was a married woman. And it started to break me down. Every way that you can think of being broke down, it happened to me. Excuse me. It happened to me mentally, spiritually, physically, and mainly emotionally. It's not of God. It is not of God. I'm not saying don't be forgiving. I'm not saying don't be understanding. I'm not saying to not extend grace and mercy to people. But what I am saying is that you better know when the enemy has you tangled up in something that did not come from God. That's the problem with a lot of people. A lot of times in life, we will be friends with a person, we will work somewhere, we will be connected to somebody, and it is not coming from God. The enemy can direct and lead you down a certain pathway, especially when you're not consulting with God and you're not bringing things to God and putting it at his feet. The enemy will get in and have you going through hula hoops in order to get somebody who respects and values you. There is a very big difference between authentic love, pure and godly love, and inauthentic, toxic love. There is a such thing as demonic cycles. Ask yourself this, and I'm going to say this to you all, and I'm going to get out of here. If you've been going through the police getting called, you always fighting this person, you guys are always arguing, you all are always going back and forth, you tearing up stuff, y'all just fighting, acting like animals, you getting humiliated, y'all going back and forth to court, that person get an order of protection on you, you get one on them, y'all going back and forth, back and forth. Ask yourself, you know what, how long have I been going through this with this person? This is another indicator that it's time for you to leave. If you say you've been going through this for years with the person, the same cycle, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years, 6 years, and up, you, sir or ma'am, you're in a demonic cycle. You're in a demonic cycle. And you are, more than likely, you are out of the will of God. That is not love. Fear is keeping you there. A trauma bond is keeping you there. Manipulation coming from that person is keeping you there. Because in situations like this, a person will say, well, nobody will want you outside of me. You don't have this, you don't have that. Nobody's going to talk to you. Nobody's going to want to date you. When somebody starts manipulating you and trying to make you doubt who you really are as a man or as a woman, when somebody is trying to pump fear in your heart and make it like you would never make it in life without them, or you would never get another relationship, you better know that that's a demon speaking through that person. And they want 100% full control over you. When somebody tells you, I don't want you in my life anymore, get out of my house, I'm done with you. And then when you walk away from them, they get angry and they threaten you, or they'll accuse you and say, oh, you don't love me. You didn't love me for real. And then you start feeling sorry for them and you start feeling bad and you go back. You all better know that that is a demonic cycle. And that is also the spirit of manipulation. I'm telling you all the truth. This message is not for everybody. But for those that get it, you get it. Those that don't, then you just won't. That's the video message. Well, guys, it's time for me to go because I have some other things to do. The Lord willing, I will be back with another video message. If any one of you have taken offense to anything I spoke about in this video message, it's okay. It's all right. I'm not worried about it. I am not concerned because I know you will forgive me in the morning.